The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning. It rippled through Earth's defense network like a stone disturbing still water. In the Global Defense Command Center, buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Admiral James Walker stood perfectly still, his eyes fixed on the hovering hologram before him. "Play it again," he ordered, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. The alien message flickered to life once more. "To the governing body of Earth, the Galactic Council demands your presence for evaluation and classification. Failure to comply will result in immediate sanctions. You have 30 Earth days to present yourselves at the Centauri Gateway." Walker allowed himself a small smile. After 200 years of preparation, it was finally happening. Humanity had carefully hidden its true capabilities since discovering faster-than-light travel in 2157. Now, in 2384, they were about to meet the galaxy's ruling powers. In the hours that followed, the world's leaders gathered virtually. President Thompson of the United Earth Government appeared on the main screen of the command center. "Admiral Walker, the Council has chosen you to lead our delegation. Remember the plan. We must appear weak and primitive." Walker finished the sentence. "Just advanced enough for space travel, but nothing more." "I understand, Madam President." The next 3 weeks were a carefully orchestrated dance of deception. Earth prepared its official delegation fleet. 5 outdated ships, their hulls deliberately weathered to look worn and patched. Meanwhile, deep within the dark side of the moon, inside dimensional pockets that no alien sensor could detect, humanity's true fleet waited. Walker stood on the bridge of the U.S. Modest, the smallest and oldest-looking ship in the delegation fleet. The name itself was a joke among the crew. Behind its scratched and dented exterior lay some of humanity's most advanced sensor systems. "Sir," his communications officer, Robert Green, called out, "we're picking up approaching vessels. 3 council ships just appeared at the edge of our solar system." The alien ships were impressive, each one nearly a mile long, their silver hulls gleaming in the sunlight. They moved with grace, but Walker could see at least 7 ways to exploit weaknesses in their design. Humanity's ships, the real ones, were far more advanced. "Send the greeting package," Walker ordered. "Let's show them exactly what they expect to see." The data burst contained carefully edited information about Earth. Some basic spaceflight capabilities, a few colonies on Mars and Venus, and limited weapons technology. Everything was designed to place humanity firmly in the developing civilization category. The council representatives, tall beings with bluish skin, arrived on the U.S. Modest for their first meeting. Their leader, an official named Lord Dex, didn't bother hiding his disdain. "Such primitive artificial gravity," he muttered, watching his datapad as it analyzed the ship's systems. "And these life support systems are barely adequate." Walker played his role perfectly, acting impressed by their technology, while showing just enough pride in human achievements to seem believable. "We are honored by the Council's attention," he said, bowing slightly. "Earth hopes to learn much from our galactic neighbors." The meeting lasted 3 hours. The Council representatives asked basic questions about Earth's technology, government, and military capabilities. Each answer was carefully crafted to reinforce their assumptions. As they prepared to leave, Lord Dex made his evaluation clear. "You will be classified as a Grade 3 civilization. This grants you limited trading rights and restricted travel permissions. The Council will assign a monitoring team to oversee your development." "We are grateful for the Council's guidance," Walker replied. Keeping his expression neutral while inside, he felt a surge of satisfaction. Everything was going according to plan. That night, alone in his quarters, Walker sent a coded quantum burst transmission to Earth Command. "Phase 1 complete. They believe exactly what we want them to believe. Proceeding with Protocol Omega." The real game was about to begin, and the Council had no idea they were playing against masters of deception. Humanity's fleet of power remained hidden, waiting for the perfect moment to show the galaxy that appearances could be deceiving. 3 Council ships hung in Earth's orbit like giant silver needles against the black of space. Their presence had caused quite a stir among Earth's population, with millions watching the skies each night to catch a glimpse of their metallic gleam. Admiral Walker stood in the observation room of the Galactic Council's main ship, the Star Seeker, watching Earth rotate slowly below. The room was filled with Council officials, all carrying devices that beeped and whirred as they measured everything about the human delegation. "Your species has managed basic space travel," Lord Dex announced, reading from his floating screen. "But your ships rely on primitive fusion drives. Most interesting." He spoke as if discussing children playing with toys. Walker kept his face carefully blank. If only they knew that Earth's hidden fleet used quantum engines that could cross galaxies in days. "We are still learning," he said humbly. The assessment continued through various tests. The Council officials asked to examine human weapons, which Walker showed them, old plasma cannons, and basic shield technology that Earth had actually stopped using 50 years ago. "Fire your strongest weapon at this target," Lord Dex ordered, pointing to a small drone floating outside the ship. Walker nodded to his weapons officer, who fired a weak plasma bolt that barely scratched the drone's surface. Lord Dex laughed. "As expected, your weapons wouldn't even dent a proper warship's shields." He made more notes on his screen, not noticing Walker's slight smile. Back on the U.S. Modest, Walker's second-in-command, Captain Lisa Hunt, waited with important news. "Sir, our hidden sensors detected something concerning," she whispered once they were alone. "A Dominion scout ship passed through the outer solar system. They're watching the assessment." Walker's expression hardened. The Dominion, the most aggressive empire in the galaxy, was already showing interest. This was both expected and worrying. "Activate the quantum buoys," he ordered quietly. "Let's make sure we know every move they make." The next day brought the final phase of the assessment. The Council ships arranged themselves in a triangle formation above Earth. Their sensors swept the planet, analyzing everything from technology levels to population centers. "We have completed our evaluation," Lord Dex announced in the Grand Meeting Chamber. The room was filled with both Council members and human representatives. "Earth is officially classified as a Grade 3 civilization." He displayed a holographic chart showing different civilization levels. Earth was placed near the bottom, marked in dim red. The Council species glowed bright blue at the top. "This means," Lord Dex continued, "you will need permission for any space travel beyond your solar system. Your trade will be limited to basic resources only. And of course, you must report any technological advances to the Council for approval." Walker stood and bowed deeply. Earth accepts the Council's wisdom in this matter. Behind his back, his fingers tapped out a coded message on his hidden communicator. "Execute Protocol Omega Phase 2. As the meeting ended, unusual energy readings began appearing on the Council ship's sensors. Their technicians dismissed them as solar interference, exactly as Earth's scientists had predicted they would. That evening, while the Council prepared to depart, Walker met with his senior staff in a secure room deep within the U.S. Modest. The walls were lined with quantum-shielded screens showing the true state of Earth's defenses. "The Council took the bait completely," Captain Hunt reported. "They didn't detect any of our advanced systems. The dimensional pockets hiding our fleet remain secure." Walker nodded, looking at a hidden display showing thousands of Earth's real warships, each more powerful than anything the Council had demonstrated. "Keep our forces hidden," he ordered. "The Dominion's interest means we'll need them soon enough." As the Council ships prepared to leave Earth's orbit, Lord Dex made one final comment to his assistant. "Such a primitive species. They'll need centuries to become anything noteworthy." Little did he know that deep in space, hidden by technology the Council couldn't even imagine. The emergency alarms blared through Earth's command center at 3 in the morning. Admiral Walker rushed into the control room, his uniform hastily buttoned. The main screen showed a nightmare coming true. 3 human colony ships near Mars were under attack. "Show me the attackers," Walker ordered, his voice tight with controlled anger. The screen shifted to reveal 5 massive warships, their black hulls decorated with red stripes, the mark of the Dominion fleet. They were firing heavy plasma cannons at the seemingly defenseless colony ships. "Send the distress call to the Council," Walker commanded. He knew what their response would be, but the plan required them to ask for help first, and get me President Thompson. The next hour was filled with desperate calls and pleas for assistance. The Council's response came exactly as expected. Under Regulation 47B, we cannot intervene in conflicts involving Grade 3 civilizations. You must handle this internally. President Thompson's face appeared on a private channel. "Is it time, Admiral?" Walker nodded grimly. "They've taken the bait. The Dominion thinks we're helpless, and the Council has refused aid. Request permission to execute Protocol Omega Phase 3. "Granted," the President said firmly. "Show them what humanity can really do." On the main screen, the situation looked dire. The colony ships were running, barely staying ahead of the Dominion vessels. Their weak shields flickered under the assault. "Sir," Captain Hunt reported, "the Dominion commander is broadcasting a message to Earth." A harsh voice filled the command center. "Primitive humans, your colonies now belong to the Dominion. Surrender them, or we will take them by force. Your Grade 3 status makes you easy prey. The Council cannot help you now." Walker allowed himself a small, dangerous smile. "Send our response. The Dominion has made a serious mistake." He turned to his communication officer. "Activate the quantum network. Call in the Third Fleet." Deep in space, hidden in dimensional pockets, Earth's true warships received the signal. The U.S. Thunder, a massive battleship 5 times larger than the Dominion's biggest vessel, was the first to emerge. Its black surface seemed to absorb nearby starlight, covered in stealth material far beyond the Council's technology. The Dominion ships didn't detect the Thunder until it was directly above them. Their sensors finally triggered when it was too late. "This is Captain Jane Miller of the Earth Defense Force." A clear voice broadcast on all frequencies. "You have attacked human civilians. Prepare to experience the consequences." The Dominion commander's response was immediate. "Impossible. Earth has no such ships. You are classified as..." His words cut off as the Thunder's advanced weapons came online. Quantum-tipped missiles and dark matter beams, technology that the Council thought was centuries away from discovery, streaked through space. 2 Dominion ships exploded before they could even raise their shields. A third tried to jump to faster-than-light speed, but found itself trapped in a gravity well generated by hidden human satellites. "Admiral," Captain Hunt reported with satisfaction, "the colony ships are revealing their true nature." The supposedly weak colony vessels suddenly transformed, their outer shells falling away to reveal heavily armed warships. It had all been a trap, designed to lure the Dominion into attacking what they thought were easy targets. The remaining Dominion ships tried to retreat, but they were already surrounded. More Earth ships emerged from their dimensional hiding spots, each one displaying weapons that shouldn't have existed on a Grade 3 world. "Send word to all human fleets," Walker ordered. "Operation Revelation begins now. Show the galaxy what humanity can really do." As the last Dominion ship surrendered, Walker opened a channel to the Galactic Council. They needed to see this, to understand just how badly they had underestimated humanity. "This is Admiral Walker of Earth," he announced formally. "We are upgrading our status from Grade 3. The Council's assessment was incorrect." The response was immediate chaos. Council messages flooded in, demanding explanations. But Walker had more important things to worry about. Long-range sensors showed a massive Dominion fleet heading toward human space. The real war was about to begin, and humanity was more than ready. The Galactic Council's emergency meeting chamber had never been so crowded. Hundreds of alien representatives watched in stunned silence as the main screen showed impossible images. The space around Earth was filled with warships appearing out of nowhere. Lord Dex stood trembling before the council leaders. "Impossible," he whispered. "They were just primitives. Grade 3. Admiral Walker's hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. Behind him, more massive ships kept emerging from dimensional pockets, each one larger and more powerful than the last. "Let me show you what a primitive species can do," Walker announced calmly. "First Fleet, reveal yourselves." The space near Jupiter lit up as 500 battleships dropped their cloaking fields. Each ship was black as night, built with smooth lines that seemed to bend light around them. Second Fleet, if you please. Near Mars, another 400 ships appeared. These were different, covered in quantum armor that glowed with barely contained energy. And finally, Walker said with a slight smile, the Home Fleet. Earth itself seemed to shimmer as the largest fleet yet appeared. 1,000 ships of various sizes formed perfect rows around the planet. At their center was the flagship Humanity's Pride, a vessel nearly 10 miles long that made the Council's largest ships look like toys. The Council chamber erupted in chaos. Species that had looked down on humanity for months now stood in fear. Their sensors were going crazy trying to analyze technology they'd never seen before. "How?" Lord Dex demanded. "Your ships. We scanned them." "You scanned what we wanted you to scan," Walker explained. "While you were busy looking down on us, humanity was building, learning, preparing. Those old ships we showed you, they were museum pieces, Lord Dex. Let me show you what we really have." On his command, the Humanity's Pride moved forward, its sides open to reveal weapon systems that the Council had thought impossible. Dark matter cannons, quantum disruption beams, and gravity pulse generators. "A demonstration," Walker announced. He pointed to an empty area of space near Venus. "Fire 1 quantum burst, minimum power." A beam of pure white energy shot from the flagship. The space it touched seemed to fold in on itself, creating a controlled dimensional rift that could have swallowed a small moon. The Council members gasped. One of their senior scientists fainted. "That," Walker said quietly, "was 1% of one ship's power. We have thousands of ships, Council members, and we've been watching, learning your weaknesses, preparing for this day." Captain Hunt appeared beside Walker's hologram. "Sir, the Dominion fleet has changed course. They're retreating at maximum speed." Walker nodded. "They finally understand. But it's too late for them to run." He turned back to the Council. "For centuries, you've treated emerging species like children. You've hoarded technology, played politics with lives, and created a system that serves only the powerful. That ends today." The Council's head speaker finally found his voice. "What? What are your demands?" "Demands?" Walker raised an eyebrow. "We don't make demands. We're declaring a new reality. Earth is taking its place as a major power, whether you like it or not. The old system of grades and classifications is over." As if to emphasize his point, more human ships appeared near major Council worlds, each one having been hidden there for years, waiting for this moment. "We could have revealed ourselves peacefully," Walker continued, "but you forced our hand by ignoring the Dominion's aggression. Now you'll see exactly what humanity can do." The Council chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. In one day, the galaxy's power structure had been completely upended by a species they'd dismissed as primitive. Walker's hologram began to fade. "We'll meet again soon to discuss the new order of things. Oh, and Lord Dex," he smiled, "you might want to update your classification systems. Humanity was never grade 3. We were simply waiting for the right moment." As the hologram vanished, the Council members looked at each other in shock. The age of human power had begun, and nothing would ever be the same. Admiral Walker stood on the bridge of Humanity's Pride, watching the tactical display as thousands of dots moved across the galaxy map. The Dominion fleet was trying to escape to their core systems, but they wouldn't get far. "All ships, this is Admiral Walker." His voice carried across the quantum communications network to every human vessel. "Execute Operation Lightning. Show them why you never corner a human. Space itself seemed to blur as Earth's ships activated their quantum drives. In seconds, they overtook the fleeing Dominion fleet. The enemy ships, which had seemed so powerful just days ago, now looked small and vulnerable. "Sir," Captain Hunt reported from her station, "the Dominion fleet is trying to scatter. Their commander is broadcasting surrender terms." Walker shook his head. "Too late for that. First wave, begin the attack pattern." Human ships moved with impossible grace, their advanced AI systems coordinating movements that organic pilots could never achieve. They split the Dominion fleet into smaller groups, trapping them in overlapping gravity fields. "Watch and learn," Walker transmitted to the still-watching Council observers. "This is how humanity fights." The first shots were devastating. Dark matter beams cut through Dominion shields like they weren't there. Quantum torpedoes created miniature black holes that swallowed enemy ships whole. Gravity weapons crushed mighty battlecruisers into balls of twisted metal. From his command chair, Walker directed the battle like a conductor leading an orchestra. Each group of human ships moved in perfect harmony, their attacks precisely timed and coordinated. "Admiral," a young officer called out, "the Dominion's third fleet just jumped in from hyperspace. They're trying to rescue their trapped ships." Walker smiled. "Right on schedule. Captain Hunt, signal the hidden squadrons." As the Dominion reinforcements arrived, they found themselves surrounded. Human ships emerged from dimensional pockets behind them, beside them, even below them. The trap was complete. The Council representatives, watching through their quantum feeds, couldn't believe their eyes. One of them spoke up on the emergency channel. "This is impossible. Your battle doctrine, these tactics, they're centuries ahead of anything we've seen." "That's because we didn't learn to fight from you," Walker replied calmly. "Humanity learned from its own history. We studied every battle ever fought on Earth. We learned from our mistakes, our victories, our near defeats. While you were judging us, we were perfecting the art of war." On the main screen, the battle continued. A Dominion dreadnought, their most powerful class of ship, fired its main cannon at a human cruiser. The beam, which could normally cut a planet in half, splashed harmlessly against quantum shields. The human ship's response was immediate. It fired a single gravity pulse that imploded the dreadnought's engine core, leaving the mighty vessel dead in space. "Sir," Captain Hunt reported with pride, "enemy casualties are at 70%. No losses on our side. The Dominion fleet is in full retreat." Walker nodded. "Launch the pursuit squadrons. Don't let them reach their home systems. And send word to our sleeper cells in Dominion space. It's time to wake up." Across Dominion territory, hidden human agents activated long-dormant weapon platforms and defense systems. The empire that had threatened Earth now found itself fighting enemies on all sides. The battle lasted less than an hour. When it was over, the Dominion's mighty fleet was reduced to floating debris and captured ships. Human casualties were zero. "Send a message to Earth Command," Walker ordered. "Phase 5 complete. The Dominion's military backbone is broken." He turned to address the Council observers one last time. "Let this be a lesson. Humanity didn't just build better ships or weapons. We created a whole new way of fighting. Your mistake wasn't in underestimating our technology. It was in underestimating human creativity and determination." As the cleanup began, reports came in from across the galaxy. Other species were watching, learning, and most importantly, reconsidering their views on humanity. The message was clear. The era of looking down on Earth was over. In the depths of space, human ships continued their relentless advance. The Dominion was about to learn another important lesson. Humans didn't just win battles. They made sure their victories lasted. The Council's great meeting hall was in chaos. Hundreds of alien representatives shouted and argued, their voices echoing off the ancient marble walls. At the center of the storm stood Lord Dex, facing an angry crowd of his peers. "How did you miss this?" demanded the reptilian leader of the trade worlds. You told us humans were primitive. Before Lord Dex could answer, the massive doors swung open. Admiral Walker entered, flanked by Captain Hunt and two other human officers. The room fell silent instantly. "Please," Walker said calmly, "don't blame Lord Dex too harshly. We worked very hard to fool you all." The head speaker, an ancient being with glowing eyes, leaned forward on his floating platform. "Explain yourself, Admiral. How long has Earth hidden its true power?" Walker activated a small device on his wrist. A hologram appeared, showing Earth's history of technological development. 200 years, he said. "When we first discovered faster-than-light travel, we also detected your council broadcasts. We learned how you treated lesser species." The hologram changed to show early council records, cases where advanced civilizations had crushed or enslaved developing worlds. "So we made a choice," Walker continued. "Earth would advance in secret. Every new invention, every breakthrough, we kept hidden. We built our fleet in dimensional pockets. We developed technology your sensors couldn't detect." From the crowd, a blue-skinned diplomat stood up. "But why? We could have helped you." "Really?" Walker raised an eyebrow. "Like you helped the people of Proxima B, or the Crystal Sphere colonies. Your help comes with too many chains attached." The council members shifted uncomfortably. They knew he was right. "In the past 6 hours," Captain Hunt announced, reading from her datapad, 17 species have requested alliances with Earth. 32 more have asked for trade agreements. And the Dominion," she smiled, "they're asking for peace talks." The head speaker's eyes flashed angrily. "You've destabilized the entire galaxy. Centuries of order, disrupted in a day." "Your order," Walker corrected him. "An order that served only the powerful. That's going to change." He pressed another button on his wrist device. The hologram now showed Earth's hidden fleet movements. Human ships were positioned near every major system in the galaxy. "We've been preparing for this moment for generations," Walker explained. "While your observers watched our primitive ships, our real fleet was spreading through the galaxy. We have bases in every sector, allies on every major world." The council chamber erupted again, but this time in fearful whispers. They were realizing just how complete humanity's deception had been. A small, wise-looking alien stepped forward. "What are your terms, Admiral Walker?" "Terms?" Walker smiled. "We want a new council, one where developing species have a voice, where technology isn't hoarded by the powerful, where advancement is encouraged, not controlled." He walked to the center of the chamber, his footsteps echoing in the silence. "Earth doesn't want to rule the galaxy," he continued. "We want to change how it's ruled. No more classification systems that treat species like children. No more artificial restrictions on technology. No more looking the other way when empires like the Dominion attack weaker worlds." The head speaker's platform descended until he was at eye level with Walker. "And if we refuse?" Walker's smile faded. "We have ships near every council world. Technology you can't detect or defend against. And unlike you, we're not afraid to use our power to force change." The message was clear. The old council could accept the new reality, or humanity would impose it. One by one, the council members began to nod. They had no choice, and deep down, many of them knew this change was long overdue. "Very well," the head speaker said finally. "We will begin discussions on reforming the council. But remember, Admiral Walker, power can corrupt any species, even humans." Walker looked around the grand chamber, meeting the eyes of aliens who had once dismissed his people as primitives. "That's why we waited so long to reveal ourselves. We needed to be ready not just to take power, but to use it wisely." As the council session ended, messages poured in from across the galaxy. The balance of power had shifted, and everyone knew it. The age of human influence had begun. 1 month after humanity's revelation of power, the galaxy looked very different. The Grand Hall of the new Galactic Assembly, built in orbit around a neutral star, sparkled with the light of 1,000 suns. Ships from every known species filled the space around it. Admiral Walker stood at the main window, watching as Earth's flagship, Humanity's Pride, took its position among the diplomatic vessels. The ship no longer needed to hide its true power. "Admiral," Captain Hunt approached with a datapad. "The final reports are in. The Dominion has completed its disarmament. Their last warships are being converted into civilian vessels." Walker nodded. The once mighty empire had fallen in just 3 weeks once their allies saw Earth's true strength. But humanity had shown mercy, something the old council never expected. "And the new technology sharing program?" he asked. "Exceeding expectations, sir. 27 developing worlds have already received clean energy systems. 15 more are scheduled for medical technology upgrades next week." The main doors opened, and representatives from 100 species filed into the assembly hall. Many were faces that would never have been allowed in the old council. Younger species, former Grade 3 civilizations, even some that had been classified as primitive. Lord Dex, now serving as a regular member rather than a high leader, approached Walker. He looked humbler than before. "I must admit," he said quietly, "we were wrong about humans. We thought power meant age. We never considered that a young species could be wise." Walker smiled. "The truth is, Lord Dex, our strength wasn't in hiding our power. It was in learning from everyone's mistakes, yours and ours." The new head speaker, elected democratically for the first time in galactic history, called the assembly to order. She was from a species that the old council had once dismissed as too emotional for leadership. "The first meeting of the new Galactic Assembly is now in session," she announced. "Our first order of business: voting on the Universal Rights Agreement." Walker took his seat among the delegates. The agreement was something Earth had spent decades preparing. A document guaranteeing rights and protections for all species, regardless of their technological level. "The old classification system is hereby abolished," the head speaker continued. "From this day forward, no species will be judged by their age, but by their actions and their willingness to contribute to galactic peace." Representatives from formerly low-ranked worlds broke into applause. Some had tears in their eyes, or their species' equivalent of tears. Captain Hunt leaned over to Walker. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from Earth. The President wants to know if you'll accept the position of First Guardian." Walker shook his head. "Tell her no. Humanity shouldn't hold too much power. We fought against that very thing." He looked around the room. "Suggest we create a rotating council of guardians with representatives from all technological levels." The assembly continued as news spread across the galaxy. Trade routes were reopened without restrictions. Scientific knowledge flowed freely between worlds. The fear that had kept species apart began to fade. A young representative from a newly spacefaring world approached Walker during a break. "Is it true," she asked, "that humans could have conquered the galaxy, but chose not to?" Walker looked out at the stars. "We could have," he admitted, "but that's not who we are. Earth learned long ago that real power isn't about control. It's about making things better for everyone." The final vote was unanimous. The new Galactic Charter was approved, creating a system where all species had a voice, where technology would be shared responsibly, and where the strong would protect the weak. As the session ended, Walker received one last report. The quantum sensors Earth had secretly installed throughout the galaxy were showing something remarkable. Species that had been enemies for centuries were opening diplomatic channels. Trade was increasing. Fear was decreasing. "Maybe that's humanity's real fleet of power," Walker said softly to himself. "Not our ships or weapons, but our ability to show the galaxy a better way." The stars seemed brighter that day, as if they too approved of the change. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what humanity had planned all along.